So I'm going to give it to Brett to introduce our next mentor.
Yes, first of all, just want to welcome Bradley Epp to our event here. Thank you very much, Bradley, for taking time out of your day to speak to our students here. I love the
No problem.
work in your background. It looks wonderful. But Bradley is a small business owner of Renew Digital Media. If you want to just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about you and your business for the students.
Yeah, well, thank you, Brett. I wish I could take credit for this awesome backdrop, but I'm actually currently on set for one of my clients, Andy East Coast Kitchen. He films actually right in his kitchen himself, and so I can't take credit, but I wish. But yeah, my name's Brad. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a photographer and videographer for the business I started, Renew Digital Media. So we've been running for about a year and a half now, and our big two clients would be East Coast Lifestyle, um, and also Andy East Coast Kitchen. Thank you, welcome. So Andy is awesome. He's a great client, and so is East Coast Lifestyle. And basically, I create the content for both of their social medias and their websites. So he does like an online blog. Andy does, and then also East Coast Lifestyle has their online website where they sell all their gear. So I create all the content for that and all their promotional stuff. Other brands that I've worked with in the past would be Jeep, Hyundai, Mary Brown's, Subway, Quaker, Canon, so pretty recognizable brands worldly. And actually, recently I did a deal with the Nova Scotia Business Hall of Fame with Junior Achievement Nova Scotia, which turned into this today. So yeah, I guess I've been doing it for a year now, but if you would have looked at me last time this year, I was working at Jack Astor's and also just a student. So things can change very, very quickly for everybody, especially in the creative space. So something to keep excited about. But growing up, honestly, I always was very creative. I was always in the art space. So growing up, I went to church. So I was in church choir and drama class back in the day. I did play drums all through elementary and junior high and all through high school, and was in a couple bands that clearly the bands didn't end up working out, but we're still in the arts. We're still in the arts. But I was basically involved in anything creative at all, which basically led in to what I do now with video and photo. So when I was probably about 11, 12, this was the birth of YouTube back in the day. I know everybody here has grown up with YouTube, I would imagine, but back in the day, we discovered it. So way back then, there was YouTubers Smosh, a couple funny, yeah, there we go. Brett knows who Smosh is. There we go.
Yeah.
But some YouTubers that inspired me back in the day. So I won't bring up the videos because they're a little embarrassing. But I used to make them as when I was young, and it kind of taught me all of the skills that I actually use now, which is pretty funny. But yeah, we used to make fun videos, and actually I was the president of my high school back in the day, and we made videos for our student council as well. And actually, when I got into high school, video wasn't really the passion where I really thought I was going towards. I actually started I went to the Mount after high school, and I did public relations, which ended up turning into business marketing. But one of the summers of my university journey, basically, I did the tidal bore rafting up in Shubenacadie. I worked as a guide there as one of the boat drivers. It was a very fun summer. It didn't pay very well, but it was a fun summer. And the owner of the business actually wanted a promotional video to put on social media. So I'm remembering all the videos I made in the past. I'm kind of like, oh, let's do this. He had a drone. I wanted to fly it. So we ended up making the video, and that was basically the start of my business video career. So I essentially fell in love with the format of doing videos for businesses, and really saw a big market for it locally, with local businesses needing social media posts and contents for their websites. So I basically started with that one business owner, and he was a buddy of mine. So we started creating content for some of his other businesses, which turned into my first paid gig that I got to fly to Toronto to do a job that he had with Subway, which was super exciting. So it was a very fast, quick start. But it was also a lot of hard work that went in behind it. You know, when I was going towards this video and photography business, I was still a student at the same time. I was still working my part-time job, and I still tried to have a little bit of a social life as well. And it was quite hard to balance them all at the same time. But it ended up working out. It really restarted my creative journey. I'm just trying to see here on my notes.
That's amazing. I think the students I'm imagining the students want to know how you connected with the East Coast lifestyle, because also like them sort of linearly, I think you kind of both got big quite quickly.
Yeah, so it's a great question. So first off, there was a lot of videos that happened before I landed the East Coast lifestyle job. So during the first shutdown, it was actually COVID was obviously horrible, but it gave me an opportunity to have free time, which I didn't really have in a long time. So I kind of locked myself in my garage and I was making free videos constantly, almost one every day, to try to get better at it and, you know, dial in my skills. And essentially, I knew someone who used to work for East Coast Lifestyle in the past, and he did modeling with them. So essentially, I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I've never done apparel work. I want to do apparel work. Can we go out and shoot? And just so I can practice." So we went out, did a modeling shoot, and he ended up posting that video to his social media, which I knew he would post it on his social media. And I knew the owner of East Coast Lifestyle follows him still, Alex McLean. So it ended up, I kind of had this plan of, okay, I want him to post it. I want Alex to see it, and then I want him to reach out. And it was a free video. I didn't get paid for it, which is a thing that I want everybody to know. It was all for free. And then it ended up working out the way I wanted to. And, you know, it turned into more. You know, he reached out for one video and I was kind of like, hey, let's do more. Let's work together. And I kind of created that client, and we've never looked back. It's been awesome. But yeah, that's the story of how I landed East Coast Lifestyle.
That's amazing. I'm going to give it to Brett for question.
Yes, of course. So my first question is, like, what made you kind of decide that you wanted to start like this as your own company?
That's a great question. It kind of developed into a company. You know, it was kind of a side hustle for a while. You know, just try to bring in a little bit of extra dollars on the side. But it got to a point where I realistically couldn't work my serving job anymore, which is a good thing. But yeah, I basically was forced into doing this full time, which is a blessing. But to be honest, it was always kind of following my passions. And a great advice that I got early on from actually the rafting owner was find a job that you love doing so it doesn't feel like work. You know, the rafting owner, he loved rafting. He loved going to the gym. So he had a gym and he had a rafting company. So for me, I love content. I love social media. And I also love marketing and video and photo. So everything I do is passions of mine. So it's really beautiful. And my girlfriend, she'll tell you I'm crazy, but I'll come home from a long shoot day. I'll do, you know, like job with East Coast Lifestyle, job with Andy. I'll come home, I'll eat, and then for fun, I'll edit the footage late at night. You know, it's a beautiful thing when you enjoy what you do, because it doesn't feel like you're working 65 hours a week when it's what you're passionate about. So that's definitely something I would like to push on all you guys, is find what you're passionate about. Andy from East Coast Kitchen, he's a great example of, he did Salesforce for a while. He was in sales. He did business marketing in university, and now he's a chef full time because he loves food. And every morning when he wakes up and cooks something amazing for different brands for his social media page, it doesn't really feel like work. So that was one of the big driving factors into, you know, pursuing video and photo full time, was definitely doing something you love every single day. So if you are into music, if you're into design, into art. There's so many things that you can get into, especially with social media now, that you can kind of go at it full force. And I wouldn't say stop everything else you're doing in your life and pursue that one passion, but anytime you have free time, I would do that. If you are passionate about piano, even post a piano TikTok here or there, or try to get it rolling on social media, but definitely pursue what you love.
Awesome. Yeah, those were great words for everyone. Like I think you have a lot of great insight, especially like starting something on your own that you didn't really even plan on becoming a full-time job and company for you. How you were able to have it naturally transition, I think, is a unique perspective.
It's funny how it evolved. It's funny how it evolved. Like originally, my idea was essentially to do a marketing company for businesses and essentially build plans for restaurants or other businesses to put social media content out, which actually turned into me creating the content for them instead of doing all the planning, which I think it's a little bit more fun. But
I have a question for you, Brad. How do you, I struggle because I'm old, but how do you know what's hot, right? When you're creating content, like how do you know what it's gonna hit, the market and how do you, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of research, which might be funny, but it's a lot of scrolling through social media and following the trends. So that's been a big shift with East Coast Lifestyle that we're going to move into the new year. But what we have been doing a lot of is like modeling content. So we'd go with models, we'd shoot short videos of them wearing the gear, which I think for this next quarter, we're going to focus more on the trending videos in the space. So more of the TikTok dances. I'm sure a lot of the high school students here would know all the high school. I don't know any of the dances, but more following the TikTok dances and the trends and the sounds. But a lot of research, it's not something that happens overnight. I think with Andy, it's a lot of trial and error. So we post a video, we see how it performs, and we say, okay, what could we do better? What could we do different? But it's a lot of, it definitely is a lot of trial and error and trying to find what works. It's very, we don't know, it's funny because some of the stuff that does blow up that we had a few videos do over 200,000 views with Andy. And it's the videos that we don't expect to do well sometimes. And the videos that we think are going to do well don't do well. So it's a little bit of a trial and error thing, but definitely a lot of research. If you want to get into social media, you want to get into photo and video, you got to put in those hours on your phone, which may not be something that you want to do. But I think my screen time is like 8 hours a day on my phone,
Wow.
which is, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's your job.
It is. That's what I'd like to tell my girlfriend for sure.
Before I give it back to Brad, I do have one other question. What is the most challenging part of your job? And maybe you just linked it a little bit, but what is the hardest part?
I would say the hardest part is, see, a lot of people have the idea of like working for yourself is this beautiful thing that you have all this free time now and you have all this flexibility, which is honestly completely the opposite. I would say now I'm less on my own schedule than ever before. So I have a great story where I had to shoot a Jeep ad for East Coast Lifestyle in Cape Breton, and it was the same weekend of my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend. And it wasn't an easy conversation to say that we couldn't go, but it was one of those things that I can't really decide my own schedule. So definitely that aspect of it, but also another difficult part would be just being the best for my clients. So really never saying no, really going hard at stuff, hitting deadlines days before, putting in those extra hours and really being the best for them. And that's how you keep the clients as well. But that's probably one of my biggest struggles is just like time management, scheduling conflicts. But honestly, the easiest part of my job is when I have the camera in my hand. It's all the extra stuff that goes around it with scheduling and trying to make sure that East Coast Lifestyle podcast isn't on the same day as an Andy shoot, and so that's definitely my hardest part.
Thank you. That's great. Brett, over to you.
Yeah, so you've touched in this a little bit, but what does like a typical work day or work week look like for you? I know you've mentioned some of your big clients, but like just kind of give like the students kind of like a rundown of like what your day looks like from start to finish.
Yeah, so I would probably wake up around, I'm not a crazy early riser, but around like 7 a.m. I'd wake up, emails, and then I try to get a quick edit in before I go to the gym. So I work out every day. Highly suggest everybody work out. But that kind of gets me dialed in. And when I'm sitting there in the gym, I'm on my phone, kind of planning out my day and my week. Then after that, I'd come home, eat a quick lunch, and then right around noon is when my clients are normally ready to go. So Andy, I'd head over here, cook some amazing food. Today we were making a cheese dip for Dairy Farmers Canada, which is good. I'm looking at it come out of the oven now. But yeah, basically we would do a shoot. I'd come home, eat dinner, go back to work, do edits probably till around 6, have dinner, and then I probably would go back to work, to be quite honest. So yeah, they're definitely long days. But again, when you love what you do, it's easy. It's very easy to do it. I it's almost video games to me at this point. If you love going home and going in Call of Duty and that's what you're passionate about, like even start a Twitch stream. You know what I mean? Those are the types of things that I would suggest to do. But for me, yeah, that's what a normal regular work day looks like. But sometimes we travel for work. I have to go to New York next month to do a shoot for a brand I can't talk about. But sometimes there's travel involved, but a lot of it's just kind of a lot of edit work on the computer and then going out outside doing shoots. And then sometimes in this kitchen as well. I can even show you. This is where we do all the shoots here. Got the light set up, the kitchen, but it's great. It's a good place. Good place to work.
Very cool. And I think there's some questions in the chat there, Brett, for you.
Yes. So the first question is, how do you get paid? Do you get paid like through an hourly wage or salary or?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with East Coast Lifestyle, I'm on staff with them. So I'm their creative director, and basically I get paid a salary through them. I get all my benefits through them. And then as Andy, I'm subcontracted through him, so I get checks basically for him. But other work, like I pick up other deals as well, like the Business Hall of Fame, that was one of them. I've done a deal with Atlantic Hyundai, done a deal with Harvest, some other restaurants, and those would just be paid via checks or e-transfer or whatever. But if someone is out there in this chat basically listening and wanting to do video and photo work, what I would suggest for you to do is try to land a reoccurring client that you can build from. And get on a retainer. So have what I have basically with Andy and East Coast Lifestyle, where it's reoccurring work every single week. You're building with them, you're seeing them grow, you grow with them, you're constantly creating content and getting better. And then you can do those one-off deals to kind of put you over the top. But yeah, basically just paid salary and then with checks as well.
And yes, so the next question that we have in the chat is, where did you end up going to school?
Yeah, so I went to Sackville High back in the day. I don't know if Sackville High people are in here, but I went to Sackville High back in the day. And then I actually went to NSCC for 1 year. And for me, I don't think I was really in the mindset of going to school right after high school. So I ended up leaving and then starting back up at the Mount, which was honestly, the Mount was my favorite place in the whole world, having the small class sizes. And it could really work around my schedule. Like I had all 5 of my classes basically back to back to back to back to back to back on 2 days a week. So I would have my availability open to work full time on top of full time studies, and then also to this video and photo stuff as well. So the mount scheduling wise was perfect for me because it allowed me to have more days available. But yeah, I went to the Mount, and I have one last year left for my business marketing program, but I've honestly just got so busy with work that I had to kind of put it on pause. But I have 2 classes for next semester that I'm doing online, so I'm gonna start picking away. But yeah, the Mount, it's a beautiful spot. I love that place.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming in and speaking to our students. It was really great to hear your perspective on not only the art and content creation side of things, but how you've started your own business as well.
Hey, well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully, we can do it again. But I love this, and I hope I inspired some photographer and videographer out there. It's not something that you can't do now, but just if you're really passionate about it and want to work hard, you can achieve things very quickly.
That's super. Thank you so much, Brad, and all the best. Happy holidays to you and your team, and happy filming.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome, cheers.